Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Color and Scribbles. My name is Rachel, and today I want to have a little discussion about style, because it is a very big concern for a lot of new artists, so I just want to talk a little bit about it. I want to talk about the way I feel about it, and these are just my thoughts about it, my opinions that I've garnered over the past several years. So the first thing that I want to do is kind of get rid of a little bit of a misnomer that I feel like is out there about style, and that is that I think a lot of new artists think that they have to have a really interesting and unique style in order to be successful as an artist, and that's really not true, because in actuality, if you want to go into commercial art at least, a lot of artists have to work under different people's styles. And a big part of the job is actually, either working under your art director's style or working with the specific style for like a campaign of some kind. So it's actually more important to be able to imitate a variety of styles than it is for you to have some kind of unique style. Now, of course, there are exceptions to this. I mean, there's plenty of artists that sell themselves on their style alone. So a lot of big name artists who are famous for their style. So that's definitely an option, but I just want to get rid of the idea that you have to have a very unique style in order to be successful, because that's simply, it's not the case. So with that out of the way, the first thing I want to say about style is that it's very, very important to focus on substance over style. It's this whole idea of, function before form. So basically, you need to understand reality and realism, or not necessarily realism, but you need to understand how the world works in real life before you can then go and start adding style to it. And what I mean by this is that you need to understand how light really affects things, and you need to understand how things are shaped in real life, and what components make them up. So if we're talking about anatomy, for example, you need to understand the bone structure underneath, or the muscle structure, or the shapes of various parts of the body. You need to understand how those things look in real life, and then style should just be, it's basically just an alteration of reality. So it is you either exaggerating shapes or simplifying shapes or altering them in some way. That's really what style should amount to. It should not be that you go to style as your first depiction of something. So, and I guess the best example of this is that I see a lot of new artists who are like, ooh, I want to be an anime artist, or I want to go work at Disney, or something like that. And then they skip right over all the fundamentals and just try to copy anime art or copy Disney art. And this is a really flawed method of going about it, because if you're only ever looking at that specific kind of art, you won't know how to deal with new situations that arise, because you don't have the foundations or the fundamentals to really understand why you're doing what you're doing. Basically, I guess that's really what it comes down to, is that you need to understand why things look the way they do, and that's why fundamentals are so important. And I'm not saying that you should never experiment with style until you're really good at realism, but it should definitely be a top priority for you to learn realism to some degree. I mean, it's not like you don't have to do photorealism or anything, but you need to understand how things look in real life, and you need to understand the function. Like I said, you need to understand the function before you start altering the form. So yeah, that's my first big tip, and I think that applies to a lot of young artists who want to go into some kind of specialized art field and think that they should just focus on that style. That's really not the case. And you'll be doing yourself a favor by broadening your horizons, by learning the fundamentals, and by exploring other art styles too, because honestly, the more versatile you can be as an artist, the more work you can do. So definitely don't start learning art by trying to box yourself into one style. Keep your options open, keep your mind open about these kinds of things, and just start by mastering the world around you. Start by mastering your hand-eye coordination. That's actually a really big one, is hand-eye coordination, because that's super difficult when you're a starting artist, just getting your hand to draw what you want it to draw. So I mean, these kinds of things, light, form, hand-eye coordination, these are all places to start, not just copying the styles of things that you like. So yeah, that's the first big thing. The next step, I suppose, is that once you've kind of progressed to the point where you do understand form a little bit more, and you understand substance, like once you've got that basis and you do want to start exploring style, some ways you can do it is doing a challenge like this. What I'm doing in this video is exploring the styles of a few artists that I admire whose work is very different from my own. So this was basically just a challenge to myself to see if I can imitate their styles. And it was a really fun exercise, and it really pushed my limits of what I thought I was capable of. So I think that I would definitely recommend trying something like this out. Like, look at artists that you admire and either start by just like trying to emulate their style. You can even start by like copying their work, as long as you don't try to like, pass it off as your own. Or you can just do what I did here, where I just kind of tried to absorb their style and apply it to my own image. Either of those is a totally viable option. Or you can also try to like kind of deconstruct what it is that you like about their art. Like maybe take a handful of artists that you admire and try to deconstruct different elements that you admire, and then kind of put those things together into a new kind of style. So that's usually a good place to start if you have no idea about what you want to do for a style. I know that a lot of people kind of just come across their style naturally, and I guess another big thing to point out is that it's really not something you should worry too much about. Like, as I mentioned earlier in the video, you can absolutely be a successful artist, and you can like work in the field and everything without having this incredible, completely unique style. Like you can definitely get a job if you like I said, once you have like the fundamentals and you have the hand-eye coordination to emulate other people's styles, you can get a job doing that. So that definitely applies for those of you that are interested in like getting into anime or getting into like Disney or any of these other fields that have prerequisites established already. Because once you have the fundamentals, you'll be able to pick up new styles pretty quickly and easily. So yeah, substance before form, substance before style is crucial, because substance actually allows you to do different styles in a sneaky little turn of events there. Surprise, surprise. So yeah, I guess that's really what I want to emphasize here, is that don't freak yourself out over style. I spent a lot of time freaking out over style because it was like, oh, I need to be completely unique, I need to be distinctive, like what is it? I tried to like psychoanalyze myself, and I was like, what is it about the world that I want to depict with my art and stuff? And like it didn't really get me anywhere, because like I said, these kinds of exercises I have found to be much more helpful than just kind of like trying to sit back and force it to happen, because you can't force it to happen. You just have to kind of grow and just draw a lot and just kind of see like where you go and see where your style takes you. Yeah. So don't worry too much about it. That it's the cherry on top, And I guess another thing is that I've also found for a lot of projects, it's better to kind of make a style that suits the project. So rather than just, being stuck with this one particular style, I can do a variety of styles based on what the project's needs are. So that's another strength of not being locked into one style, is that you can kind of vary it based on the project and what is appropriate for a given piece. So yeah, style's the cherry on top. If we're having a banana split, like fundamentals are everything else. Like you've got light and form and structure, all these other things, line work, hand-eye coordination, all of these are all of the other, like, the meat of it, the meat of your ice cream sundae. That's gross. But yeah, and style is the cherry on top. Style is what makes it a little bit more distinguished, makes it a little bit more unique or whatever. So don't worry about it, let it happen. And I don't know, I guess I hope this eased your conscience, because it took this realization for me to kind of like chill out about it. So I just want you guys to be able to like chill out about it a little bit. So don't freak out, don't worry about it. It will happen. You will get there. It'll happen naturally. Just do your studies, don't try to force it. So yeah, I hope that helped. If you like this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. I do new videos every single week, and if there's anything that you would like to hear me talk more about or that you would like to see me do, this was a really fun challenge. I'm definitely down to try more challenges and talk about them. Let me know in the comments, and I will do that for you. So, thanks again, and I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next time.